On June 11th, 1955, the world of motorsport changed forever. At France's legendary 24 Hours of Le Mans race, a split-second decision triggered the deadliest disaster in racing history. The 24 Hours of Le Mans isn't just another race. It's an endurance battle where drivers, teams and machines fight exhaustion and mechanical limits to see who can go the farthest in a single day. It's the ultimate test of speed, skill and survival. But that year, excitement turned to chaos. A sudden move between Jaguar's Mike Hawthorne, Austin Healey's Lance Macklin, and Mercedes driver Pierre Levy unleashed a horrifying chain reaction. Levy's car, traveling over 200 kilometers an hour, launched into the packed grandstands, scattering fiery debris and claiming more than 80 lives. The tragedy stunned the world, forcing nations to ban racing and leaving behind a haunting reminder: at Le Mans, glory and catastrophe can collide in a single heartbeat. Before the crash. The morning of June 11th, 1955, was filled with excitement and promise. The sun shone over Le Mans as more than 250,000 fans poured into the grandstands, waving flags and snapping photos. Families picnicked beside the track, children on their fathers' shoulders, waiting to see their heroes fly by. Mechanics polished chrome, engines rumbled like thunder, and the smell of fuel and roasted peanuts filled the air. This was more than a race. It was a festival of speed, a celebration of human daring. Ferrari, Jaguar, and Mercedes-Benz had brought their best, each team chasing glory in the world's toughest endurance race. When the clock struck 4, the roar of engines shook the ground. Drivers sprinted to their cars, the crowd erupted, and the 24 Hours of Le Mans was underway. No one in those grandstands could imagine that before sunset, joy would turn to horror. The crash. What felt like a routine moment on lap 35 turned into catastrophe. Mike Hawthorne, locked in a fierce duel with Fangio, signaled he was coming into the pits and slammed on the brakes to make his stop. A last aggressive move to protect his lead. There was no proper deceleration lane, and, just before the pit straight, a subtle right-hand kink forced cars toward the same line, a dangerous pinch point the track hadn't been built for. Lance Macklin, directly behind, was forced wide onto uneven road and dust. Instinctively, he swerved back toward the center to avoid Hawthorne. His Austin Healey briefly spun and slid into the path of Pierre Levy's much faster Mercedes closing at over 120 miles per hour. Levy's front wheel mounted Macklin's rear. The Mercedes launched like a projectile, flew over the low embankment and struck concrete in the spectator area. Heavy parts, engine block, radiator, suspension became deadly shrapnel, and the car's magnesium body ignited, feeding a merciless blaze. Aftermath. In the chaos that followed, Mike Hawthorne pulled into the pits, trembling and in shock. He believed he had caused the unimaginable. Across the track, John Fitch stood frozen beside Levy's wife, watching the fire consume what was left of the Mercedes. When news of the death spread, Fitch begged Mercedes to withdraw, and by midnight they did, quietly pulling their cars from the race. But the race itself continued. Officials feared that stopping it would trap thousands of panicked spectators and block rescue efforts. At dawn, Jaguar's Hawthorne and Ivor Bueb took the victory, but no one celebrated. The image of Hawthorne raising champagne became a symbol of bitter irony. 82 people were dead, over 100 injured. The crash forced countries across Europe to ban racing and reshaped motorsport forever. From the ashes, men like John Fitch dedicated their lives to building a safer future for speed.